Today on Business Made in Montana, we introduce you to more companies that call Montana home, create interesting and unique products, hire Montana workers, and keep state economy rolling. We're crossing big sky country to tell you the stories of business made in Montana.
This University of Montana School of Journalism student production is made possible with support from the Greater Montana Foundation. The Greater Montana Foundation benefits the people of Montana by encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to present and future generations of Montanans. And by the University of Montana.
Welcome to Business Made in Montana. I'm Julie Magnuson, and today we'll bring you the stories of businesses making it work here in Montana. The desire to build a better, more affordable bicycle, and to do it right here in the Bitterroot Valley led an ambitious group to start Bitterroot Cycles in Hamilton.
So I first moved to the area in 2007, and at the time didn't fully appreciate everything that it had to offer, but as I came and left the area over a number of years following that, I really found the value and really appreciated just the mountains and the instant access to everything that there is to do. If you're a hiker, biker, if you like to fish, if you like to climb, it's all in your backyard. And the quality of life is just so much greater.
My name is Chad Duvall. We're sitting in here at the Red Barn Bicycle Shop here in Hamilton, Montana. Started the Red Barn about 18, 19 years ago, and the mountains here are beautiful. They're rugged. It's amazing single track, and we got a bunch of mountain bikes that do really well in that type of terrain. In the last couple of years, we started kind of a new endeavor and started manufacturing steel frames, titanium frames. And we were like, wow, we got a welder.
My name is Dave Norton.
Oh, we got a bike designer.
My name is Chris Rector.
We got a bunch of guys that like to ride bikes. So it's Bitterroot Cycles. We have the two models. This is we call it the Weasel. It's basically meant for like single track riding, trail riding, very, very fun bicycle to ride. And the other ones are the Beaver. Both of them have very unique names to them. They are kind of, we got our inspiration from certain drainages and coming out of the Sapphire Mountain Range, which is to our east over here.
We're trying to target the folks that may not have the big budget to work with. So being able to get into a fun bike that has multiple options for wheel sizes, tire sizes, at a base price that's pretty low, just seems to be not really recognized across the board.
So much of the product is coming to us from overseas, Asian markets. So it's just kind of nice to be able to do A, the bike that you want, B, make it right in underneath your own roof, and in it actually being like super high quality, really enjoyable stuff to work with.
My background is as a mechanical engineer, mostly designing custom equipment. So when Chad and I started talking about doing a bike of our own, that definitely fed into the design aspect and having the tools and resources to help put something together. So we usually start with kind of a brainstorming session on what is it that we want the bike to do, how do we want it to ride, and then from there I'll take those inputs and go through a couple of iterations on my own of what I think the bike should be, and then I'll do a kind of a concept sketch that I'll bring back to the group, and we'll do a little review session, just trying to make sure our first effort is the best effort that we can make. And that's kind of where the handoff goes from myself to the fellow that fabricates, Dave, and he takes paper and turns it into steel.
Picking tubes, that's kind of where you start. Gather all your tubes for the cycle, dropouts, head tube, all your little odds and ends, cable guides. Once you get all your main tubes together, then we set up our mill. We'll go ahead and make our notches and tubes, check them for fit on our fixture, and from there, once you have things kind of cut the way you like it, things are fitting, then clean the inside, outside, do your weld prep. Then it goes straight to alignment, gets checked in alignment, and from there it gets a seal of approval once it's good, and then the customer's name, out the door it goes to get powder coated, and yeah.
And next thing you know, Dave's got, this, which was at first a CAD drawing on a piece of paper. Now it's like a real thing. And then we generally take it, put it in one of our repair stands, and throw 47, 50 different parts on it, and some wheels and a chain, and go try it out. And that's part of the whole testing process. Is a fun part of the process as well. But.
The vision is great, the product is great, the bike is great. All the feedback that we've gotten, it's just helped, spur it on even more.
Our bikes meet our criteria. I don't think we're designing to somebody else's criteria. Our bikes are a little heavier than what some people are looking for, but that being said, you can go out and beat on them all day long, and they'll be ready for another ride tomorrow. And that's what I think the Bitterroot Mountains brought to it. We designed for the mountains.
To find out more about these Bitterroot Valley produced bicycles, go to bitterrootcycles.com.
Our next Made in Montana company has grown for many reasons: energy efficiency, emergency housing, and the minimalist movement. From eco-built homes in Billings to other businesses across the state, tiny houses are fitting the needs of more people all the time.
For me personally, the transition to move to 240 square feet was not very hard. We did have to pare down though a little bit, and we got rid of a few things, but right now we have what we need, and if we want to pick up and go, we're not stranded.
I had the same American dream like kind of everyone else does, to get a little more stuff and a little bit bigger house and bigger everything. And I joined the service right out of high school, and so I had the money, but I didn't have any bills. And so every time I moved, my place got a little bigger. I got a little more stuff. You get emotionally attached to stuff that's stuff, so all of a sudden, like, your stuff owns you instead of you owning your stuff. We actually ended up living with our other roommate. He got it was basically a studio, but had a door, so they called it a one bedroom. There was 3 adults, a kid, and at one point 6 cats, but it was just like that close proximity where we actually sat down and ate together, instead of like, hey look, my big screen TV and my sound system, I'm gonna eat here, and just like that separation, all of a sudden everyone was like together, and for like that 1 month it was like that realization of like, I don't need any of this crap.
My background is as an educator. My wife is a vet tech. We were paying over $1,000 a month for rent, and it just wasn't adding up based on our income. So it's actually my wife that got online, and she found this company, EcoBuilt Homes, here in Billings, Montana. So at EcoBuilt Homes, our houses range from 200 square feet all the way up to 600 square feet. So some consider our houses tiny or small, but we like to look at it as energy efficient.
I'm Mark Trepanier, and the project I'm currently working on is trying to get a tiny house community here in Missoula. The major thing is try to get affordable housing, because right now the housing cost is just ridiculous here for anyone trying to buy a house. So there's several different tiny home manufacturers already here, so we'll be partnering with them, plus producing some other ones like cob houses.
My name is Ben Hahn. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing for EcoBuilt Homes. One of our big focuses this year at EcoBuilt Homes is developing a subdivision here in the Billings area. We could potentially have 44 lots here by the end of the year available specifically for EcoBuilt Homes and houses that are under 600 square feet. So our company founder has lived in Billings, has spent a lot of time, raised his family here in Billings. Billings was the logical place to start this company because that's where he lived, that's where his family's at. We've also found that Billings is an amazing place, and in the state of Montana is also an amazing place to do business, because I think people in Montana appreciate quality craftsmanship. They also appreciate the independence of having your own place and being able to take your house anywhere that you want it. Those concepts are really easily understood by Montana. The other thing I like about doing business here in Montana is there's a lot of really great workers here that have very exceptional skill sets.
On the business side, it would be, we're so down to earth. That's what I love about doing business here is I can go into the bar and you either do business in the bar or you do business in the golf course. I suck at golf, so I go to the bar. Everyone's dressed the same, we're all drinking the same beer. It's just we're all down to earth and we just kind of want to move forward. And so I love Missoula. And to be here in Montana, it's just like, what do you need? What do you need to get worked on? What do you need help with? And so I love doing business here.
To find out more about living tiny in a big way, go to ecobuildhomes.com.
Like many, our next Montana company is very passionate about being made in the USA. What's more USA than White Sulphur Springs? Red Ants Pants has uplifted the community with a growing music festival, and it is the first company dedicated to making women's work clothing.
So I chose White Sulphur Springs because I was looking for a small, authentic ranching town in rural Montana, and I had just read Ivan Doig's memoir, This House of Sky, and he grew up here in White Sulphur, and it sounded like a great town. I came and visited one time, found this old historic saddle shop for sale, and I dove in. Yeah, that was almost 12 years ago, which is hard to believe. It's just a wonderful community, and they've really welcomed me in, and I've gotten to know the people in the place, and it just fits and suits who I am and where I want to be in the world. And it also really ties in with the culture of our brand with the company. So my name is Sarah Calhoun, and I'm the founding owner of Red Ants Pants, the first ever company dedicated to making workwear for women. And we're based here in White Sulphur Springs, Montana. Moved to Bozeman, Montana in 2004 and got the idea of starting the company, and had a very fateful meeting of a fellow when I was reading my How to Start a Business for Dummies book downtown Bozeman. Very first weekend in town, and this guy noticed the book and we got to talking, and it turned out for the past 20 years he had done production and design for a little company called Patagonia. So he was a great connection, and he's on my board of advisors to this day. Got rolling, learning everything I possibly could about the apparel industry and product and design and manufacturing and business management, and moved up to White Sulphur in 2005 and opened the doors in 2006 to Red Ants Pants. So we have our storefront here, which is also our international headquarters, and we fulfill online orders all around the world from right here. So this is all of our inventory, and this is where we manage the company and also have this retail storefront. So at this point, it used to be a lot more sales, the percentage-wise, were online, and now it's transitioning to, I think, up to 43% of our sales are right here in the store. So people are doing a lot of destination trips to come to this great little town and check it out. So after about 5 years in business, we decided that it was time to bring people together to celebrate on a larger scale, and music is an incredible tool to do that, just to bring people in. Decided to have a music festival. Didn't really know that industry either and had a lot to learn, but it ended up being a really good thing for the town and for the whole company, and again, the culture of the brand. And we had 6,000 people come for the first festival in 2011, and this past year we had 16,000 come. So we've been growing tremendously, but it's still a really feel-good event, very family-friendly. And it all is a fundraiser for our nonprofit, which is the Red Ants Pants Foundation. We try to keep everything as regional and local as possible, for sure. All of our products are made in America. Our belts, the leather work is all done right here in White Sulphur, as well as our aprons, and we're working on getting some of our vests produced locally as well.
My name is Kathleen Hochstrat. I've been making the Red Ants Pants belts for Sarah. I'm thinking about 9 years. She came to me and wanted to know if I could come up with a belt, and so between us we came up with this design. I have been buying the belt strips rather than a whole side of leather because I ended up with way too much waste and unusable parts. I measure them and cut off the ends so that they're the right size. They have to be wet in order to press the ants and the Red Ants Pants label into them. Then I press the ants in, the Red Ants Pants stamp in, and I put on my maker's mark, which is the KP bar, which is my brand. then that has to be allowed to dry. They have to be completely dry before I hand paint each individual ant. And then hopefully they're made right.
So the things that keep me here in White Sulphur, it's the community and the people and the grit and the work ethic and this sense of place here in rural Montana. I think there's so much potential for small business in these types of places. You have the historic buildings and the low cost of living and quality of life, and I've found where I want to be, and it's there's just so much potential for business here.
To find out about all the things that Red Ants Pants is involved with, go to redantspants.com.
Okay, so you love donuts, but you're vegan and gluten-free. Tandem Doughnuts here in Missoula can fill that need. You'll be hard-pressed to find a finer donut peddler with a delicious choice in tandem with a healthy one.
We've had a couple of people that have actually broken out in tears because they say it has been so many years since they'd had a donut because they've been diagnosed with a gluten allergy, and it just completely changed their life. Those are the moments that, you know, make you feel pretty proud of what you're doing and happy that you can help people.
Tandem Bakery is a vegan and gluten-free wholesale, and we have a stand at the Farmers Market Bakery in Missoula, Montana. We mostly do donuts, but we also do breads and English muffins and other baked goods.
My name is David Tyson. I am the co-owner of Tandem Doughnuts. My wife and I own it together, hence co-owner. Her name is Beth Gerline. She's vegan. And our first year here, she wanted a donut sort of at random and could not find one. It was not super late, but late enough that none of the real cafes were open anyways. The only place that we could find a donut was at the grocery store, and you know, she's vegan, she can't eat dairy. Not just she doesn't want to, but she can't eat dairy. So that wasn't really even a possibility. And the more people that we kept talking to asking where can we find a donut, much less a vegan one, they say, yeah, we just don't. There used to be a donut shop, but yeah, not anymore, but you should start one. You should start one. That kind of propelled us to giving the market a shot, and the Clark Fork Farmers Market a shot, and it sort of grew from there. If I were to characterize what that whole process has been like, I would say it's probably been alternating bouts of insane excitement and just overwhelming love for the town in which we live.
I think Missoula is an interesting location because it's a tourist destination for national parks, and it's also kind of the big population center in western Montana, so it's really in a good position to become a food destination for people too. And so I think that anything, giving people more choices in general, I think is a great idea, but as the food scene expands, having more options for people with dietary restrictions, I think can only help the community in terms of drawing people in. We like to use produce that we get at the farmers market, so local stuff. A lot of times during the farmers market season, we try to have weekly specials that are based on whatever is happening in the growing season at that time. So we've done lots of different fruits, but lavender lemon is a big popular one.
We don't really see ourselves as competing with any other bakery in town, which is great because we totally feel like Missoula is the kind of place, and Montana is full of towns like this where you can have a series of businesses that are all sort of supporting each other and creating community to draw people to their businesses so that a rising tide raises all boats. And I feel like that is one of the biggest things about being a Montana business that I really like, is sort of do out of the necessity created by the land, really. I mean, it's isolated. You have to reach out to your neighbors to survive in a way. So
David and I, just as business owners, are really interested in we want to own a business that we feel good about, that we feel like it's a force for good in the community. So we're interested in sourcing as many local ingredients as possible and thinking about what goes into our product and also in terms of how we conduct business. So yeah, just beyond being a bakery, we want to be a business in Missoula that is a force for good, is doing good for employees and also for the larger business community.
To find out more about their gluten-free and vegan baked goods, go to tandemdoughnuts.com.
Since 1929, our next Made in Montana company has been responsible for some of the most groundbreaking advances in fly fishing. With a true passion to do things the right way, the R.L. Winston Fly Rod Company in Twin Bridges refuses to compromise.
There can be fine lines that distinguish a good rod from a great rod and a great rod from an exceptional rod. And we always aspire to have that exceptional category.
I'm Annette McLean here at the Winston Rod Company. I've been with the Winston Company for 33 years. Right now I'm the head product development and designer for the fly rods.
My name's Adam Hutchison and I currently work marketing, pro services, and customer service for Winston Rods.
My name is Jeffrey McGowan and I'm the sales and marketing manager at Winston.
We're here in the middle of the Winston Rod Company, a company that was started in 1929 in San Francisco, California. In the mid-70s, the company was moved to Montana by Tom Morgan, who owned the company at that time. Tom, having grown up in Montana, had a special affection for the waters of Montana. So in moving the company into the Twin Bridges, Montana area, he accomplished several things for the company. He began to put a face on the company in terms of the basic philosophy of rod design development, as well as the fishing expectations of these rods. We have a staff on board here that's widely experienced in so many different aspects of rod design and development, as well as marketing and sales. So we control everything right here in little Twin Bridges, Montana. I came to Montana just because of the opportunities here. The fishing opportunities being my greatest influencer. It has everything that I love. And you know, from fishing, hunting, hiking, and everything else in between, it's really an amazing state, and it's definitely where I want to be, and that's where my family and I have found ourselves.
So everything takes place here. You know, we receive the material and it goes through the entire process to become the final product that we put into the market. On any one of our rods, we will use up to 4 different composite materials. This allows us to design tapers and actions that contribute to what the market knows as the Winston feel, which is a progressive action rod with a soft tip to a very powerful butt section, creating a very wide range of applications in which the rod is going to succeed. We use a material called boron. It's only used in a few other industries. Boron is actually an element, but the way that it's composed in this material is actually tungsten wires measured down to the 3/1000ths of an inch. And it goes through a process, gets rolled onto a sheet that comes out very similar to that of graphite. That material gets applied to our butt section and it acts like a turbo would in a car, giving additional energy throughout the rest of the conventional graphite. The process begins in the cutting room where we cut all of our patterns by hand. We cut our patterns down to the 32nd of an inch for a very fine quality control. From there, the patterns are moved down through the rolling room, in which case they will get applied to a mandrel, rolled, taped, go into an oven for a particular period of time at temperature, come out, sanded, and then you will have your ready to roll blank. So once the blank is complete, it goes into our paint room, and this is a proprietary process for us. Winston has a legacy of just a beautifully aesthetically pleasing rod, and a lot of comes from our Winston Emerald Green. So that process will be proprietary, and at that point though, once the rod is finished and has a clear coat applied, it will then go into the ferruling process and start to be made into a full, complete rod. Each rod is going to go through its own ferruling section. So each rod is custom ferruled to itself. That means that each Winston is going to achieve thoroughness in the ferrules for ultimate transfer of energy and for a smooth, lively feel. We have a very hands-on process here at Winston. In order to achieve the tolerances and quality and performance and thoroughness of the product, it goes through a multitude of hands. And each employee throughout this process is exceptional in what they do, and they're entitled at any point that if they don't approve of a product, to disperse of it, and you create a new product so that we can assure by the time the product is finished that it is 100% beautiful, ready to go Winston fly rod.
In terms of developing a fly rod, it's long been the philosophy of this company to develop rods that are designed specifically for fly fishing application. Having a company sitting on the banks of the Beaverhead River really blends well in developing those rods whose performance are nearly unparalleled out on the water.
If you want to outcast, outfish, and outperform with quality fly rods, go to winstonrods.com for more information.
Well, that's our program. We hope you've enjoyed meeting the interesting people and businesses that help our diverse and evolving Montana economy. On behalf of the students, faculty, and staff of the University of Montana School of Journalism, thanks for watching Business Made in Montana. I'm Julie Magnuson.
This University of Montana School of Journalism student production is made possible with support from the Greater Montana Foundation. The Greater Montana Foundation benefits the people of Montana by encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to present and future generations of Montanans. And by the University of Montana.